Well, good afternoon, this is Houndog Steve wishing you a very pleasant afternoon, and I've been working on the trail here on the property, so I thought I would take a little hike around and let you see what it looks like. And incidentally, this was where the guys used to do a little bit of shooting, and you know, you can see right behind here is a clear right of way, and the road bends and the neighbours are about a quarter of a mile, half a mile that way, and this just shows you that you have to think ahead. And firing, you know, see, there's a thing in hunting called target fixation, and people who get target fixation assume that they are not going to miss the target, and of course people miss all of the time. But there are two types of ammunition we used here. This one here is a 303, and it's made quite a crater. But this here, this one right here, this is a 270, and it actually was traveling so fast and revolving at such a speed that it actually melted the metal. And this is 1-inch plate steel. Okay, so I've done quite a bit of work since last we spoke. First thing, when you're making a trail, everything is orange tagged, and I came around today and did some tree trimming just to clean this up. But yeah, so one of my comments on the last video was that they thought that I was very inspirational and inspired hope. So, like I say, as we're walking around here on this trail, I may point a few things out, but you know, let's have a little chat about what's going on and how we're going to deal with it. A couple of things, you know, I think that what you have to get your head wrapped around is that this is not going to come undone now. And I remember watching a inspirational talker called Dr. Murray Banks, and he basically did a 1-hour stand-up comedy routine talk on how not to go crazy. Anyway, spoiler alert, I'm going to cut to the chase. Basically, what he said was, when things happen in your life, the only option you have to stay sane is to say to yourself, what adjustments am I going to make in my life to get around this obstacle which has been placed in my way? And once you can do that, you will save yourself a state of insanity, because you know, waiting for things to change is not going to work. So accepting that is your first duty. Accept that things have changed, things in your life has changed. We're not going to go back to anything like normal, and so we have to adapt and move forward. Yes, I'm quite pleased with this little trail. This is my first little opening. I was doing a bit more cleaning up today, trimming out some of the lower branches on that beautiful, beautiful white pine. And that's what the British came over here for the stands of white pine in this area. Anyway, this is going to be a little picnic area come campsite, so that should there be any guests in the big house, I can still enjoy myself and be able to get around without disturbing anybody else. So one of the things that has been on my mind lately, because of the Olympics starting up, is the whole idea of people who have altered their sex and are now entering the sports field. And you know, I don't know how old all you people are, but I go back to the days when East Germany and Russia, basically all the women, they just dominated the field of sports, because they were all taking steroids, and they all looked like they were built like brick shit houses, and there was nothing going to stop them. So we've come from that now to people actually changing their sex and then entering the sports field. This is unbelievable, and it's interesting, you see, that you don't see the reverse happening. You don't see women changing into men and then entering the male world of sports, and you know why? Because they get flattened. You know, there's just no way that men and women can compete on the same playing field, and the differences are absolutely obvious, and this is why we have two classes of sports, men's and women's. And the thing that frustrates me about this, I don't know whether you're feeling the same kind of frustration, but the answer to this is so simple. You just have three categories: men, women and transgender, and you let transgender compete against themselves. That's the only fair thing to do, because like I say, it's obvious the disadvantages that this is putting women at. The other big area that women are losing to in this field is in medicine. And again, when I go back to myself as a younger man, basically all medicine was male dominated. You know, it's taken the last 30 years or so to separate, you know, women's medicine from men's medicine and children's medicine. You know, at one time doctors really all thought that people, you know, that women were just small men and that children were small men too, just little people. And of course now we have completely different branches of medicine for all three of those categories, because we realize that there is staggering differences between the male and female anatomy and the way the endocrine system works and all of that kind of stuff. So the feminists are going to lose this battle if they don't speak up. And I'm not talking about this third wave feminism. I'm talking about where we were all just looking for equality of opportunity, not equality of outcome. If women do not find their voices, and find their voices very, very quickly, especially in sports, you are going to see things change beyond all recognition. You are going to see records broken in sports that will never be retaken. Women will never retake those records. They will stand forever, because you know, men just have upper body strength. Just because you change yourself into a woman doesn't mean to say that you haven't lost all of those male characteristics that gives, you know, men dominance in the sports field when they're playing, you know, if they were to play against women. So there you go. Find your voices, women. You better speak up pretty damn quick, because I can't believe how this is changing so quickly. And of course, I don't know whether you realize this, you know, the people who've transitioned hate feminists and vice versa, and I never quite realized why. But then I heard someone talking about this, and they were saying that, well, you know, feminism is all about, here, you know, I am woman, hear me roar. And of course, when you transition, that's no gender. Okay, so basically that's taking the thunder out of the feminist sails. And there are people, of course, in those organizations who've done very, very well. They're at the top of those organizations, and they're going to lose that. So hey, you're going to see a battle, my friends. You are going to see a battle here. And like I say, women, you had better find your voices. Now, just one little thing I wanted to show you here. I've been thinking about this. I saw this in Mother Earth News, and I saw these maples that have been hit by a fallen branch and bent over. And there's a little circle of maples here. And so what I'm going to do, you can see I bent them over and I'm weaving them into each other, and I am going to make a little hobbit house here out of living trees. And the branches and the leaves will be the cover, and I don't know how you'll actually keep the rain out, but I saw this as a futuristic idea for homes, living homes, homes that you grow. And so this is what I'm doing. I've got a couple of more maples. I've got to get a ladder to get up high enough to pull that down over. But yeah, I'm going to weave these all together. And already I know this is probably the Scorpio coming out of me, but you can see it's kind of cozy already in there. You know, a little secret hideaway. Yep. I am going to have so much fun on this property. This is another way to survive mentally, is you distract yourself. You give yourself things to do, projects, things that keep you interested and your mind alive. You know, this is how you overcome mind-numbing idiocy. I heard turkeys come through here this morning. I couldn't see them, but I heard them when I was hiking. So we got turkeys on the property, no doubt about that. And you can hear a little traffic from the road, but well, I guess I can live with that. And like I say, this is just sort of one little front corner of the property. There is plenty of other areas to go into, and you know, there are several trees on this property. We're coming up to one right now, and this is why I've kind of put the trail around this tree. And there's another one over there, and on the other side of the driveway. They were hit by lightning, and they continued growing, but the lightning burnt out the center of the tree and split it. But that maple kept on growing. And you can see there's another one over there. Took on that curious bent shape after it got hit. And you can see this one when you see it from a sideways view. Honking great maple. That tree, I bet you, is 150 years old, easily. Easily 150 years old. So there you go, this is the end of the trail. It's about a quarter-mile long, I guess, or maybe half a kilometre. But there are plenty of places to open up into, and this, my friends, is just the beginning. And I don't know about you, call me crazy, but I love making trails. There's something about it that's incredibly satisfying. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to be able to walk fairly freely without stumbling, so you can enjoy the scenery around you and some of the beautiful trees, the smell, the aroma. And I would urge anybody, you know, to go out into the countryside, be around the pines, so you can breathe in that aroma. Pines and cedars, unbelievably calming. Unbelievably calming. And you see, this is the difference between where I came from and where we are right now. Look at the size of that boulder. This was dragged up here by glacial activity. 3 glaciers, 3 ice ages, dragged all kinds of rock like this. And in fact, I'll show you some of the Canadian Shield, but there are scratch lines on it that always run north and south because they were made as the glaciers departed and headed north. Now this tree, how old do you think that tree is? That has got to be a 3-foot diameter girth, and you can see how tall it is. But again, hit by lightning. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Look at the size of that one branch. I mean, that is bigger than a lot of trees. This is definitely an old growth maple, and those gnarly roots dug into the rocks holding it down. Look at the contours. I wonder what this tree could tell you. And you know what? It's just begging for a tree house, isn't it? Isn't that just begging for a tree house? I may put a deer stand up there for the fall. So yeah, this property goes ways, about another 200-300 feet in that direction, down around, and you can see how it slopes down over there. It's beautifully contoured, and I'm sure, I'm going to have lots of fun playing on this property. So again, I would urge all of you to keep your chin up. Another thing I do is I watch or read books, watch movies or read books about people who are going through incredible challenges in their life. And I find that that is a way to help you get through, to help you keep, you've got to play these little mind tricks. You have to play these little mind tricks, because if you start focusing on the wrong things, I mean, that's one of the biggest problems with being a human being mentally, is that we can get so locked into something, that it becomes omnipresent and you can't see a way out. And so you have to play these games, you have to put yourself above that, find yourself distractions, give yourself projects, do things that make you think logically. Like I say, how am I going to make this trail? Okay, I've got to find the easiest way through. Then I've got to tag it. Then I've got to take out all the low-hanging branches and cut down some trees. Put a little plan together. Anything to keep yourself distracted in a positive sense. Now that is where the TV antenna should be, or the satellite dish. Sumac. This is a beautiful Canadian natural plant. You see the flowers that come out on sumacs. They are just absolutely dripping with vitamin C. They make a very citrus-like drink. It's very tart. Usually you have to add sugar to it. And you just take those big red heads off, put them in a pan of water, boil for about 15 minutes, and there you go. Drink it down. But yeah, this year has been incredible. We're now getting fairly evenly spaced rain. We're supposed to get some heavy rain tonight, about an inch. So this year is going to be a bumper year. Anyway, we've had a good walk around and a good chat, and I hope that has maybe given you some ideas and some inspiration. And in the meantime, this is Houndog Steve wishing you a very pleasant afternoon, and we'll talk very, very shortly. You take care now. Bye.